So today's top 5, voted by you guys, is the top 5 best remakes. Now this was going back and forth because it was at first,
which this is an oxymoron, by the way.
I know, really, but it was going back and forth with best, worst, and I think car chase. I can't remember which one it was, and it was tied for a long time. So I had to re-release the poll between those two top vote getters. And remakes won.
Because
best remakes won.
If it was going to be car chases, it would be the best Fast and Furious movie.
No, wait, Bullet, man. Steve
McQueen.
Cannonball Run?
No.
Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2. The freeway scene.
Okay, so why are we doing car chases? I don't know, but Terrence! Go first.
All right. Okay, so best remakes, and
that was tough, actually.
It was really tough. I mean, because one, there's not a lot of good remakes out there, and the ones that are really, really good, you don't realize that they are remakes. So
that's true.
I'm gonna go through my top 5, and
more than likely we have the same. But
more than likely, and y'all can complain if our lists are the same because I normally try to be outside of the box, but no.
Hey, y'all beat them up pretty hard too.
It's all right, but you know,
hilarious.
But you know what? Put your comments on there. I'm gonna put them in a video. You guys will acknowledge if you didn't like it. So, with that being said, my top 5. Number 5, The Evil Dead. I love that remake.
Great.
That was a great remake. I mean, it was scary. It was gory. It was for a moment when I had to sit and think about it. I think I like it better than the original. That's how good that remake was. And it wasn't, to be honest, I think you guys like it better than the original because nobody really started getting into the Evil Dead until we really started going on the whole Ash heavy thing. And that's when when Evil Dead 2, which was basically another dang on remake of 1, that's when people really started liking the Evil Dead movie. So that, I consider, that is a great top 5 remake.
Okay.
All right. Number 4, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Wow, I was that close. I was that close. And if you haven't seen the prequel with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, that was freaking awesome too.
I think that from the original to John Carpenter's Thing is what why they even did they did a prequel with it. It has still not been redone. I mean, nobody's done anything like it. Nobody's tried to redo it since then. It's kind of one of those films. It's the Back to the Future. Like I said, when they try to do a remake, they say, "Oh, we're just gonna make it a prequel." It is the Back to the Future of movies. That was like, we're just not gonna touch this film.
What about Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Do you think that maybe a little bit of that? I mean, that's kind of.
The vibe.
That's kind of like Pod People,
but like in the Arctic, you know, with this unknown alien, and you know,
it was amazing.
I mean, it definitely is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. When you sit and really think about it, it definitely is
mixed with Alien.
But it was more of like, it wasn't like we're trying to blend in. It's just like, we're just trying to confuse you for a second, so then we can get you. The movie's awesome. Everybody's seen The Thing, but it is definitely
the music is freaking awesome too.
Awesome.
Kurt Russell, the man on it.
Kurt Russell. All right, so number 3, Batman Begins. What is wrong with you? It's a remake, people.
How is it a remake?
It's a remake of Michael Keaton's Batman.
No, it's not. The Dark Knight would probably be closer to a remake.
Okay,
go ahead. Say your piece. I'm shutting up.
It's a remake of Batman the movie.
No, it's State your case, sir.
It's a remake of Adam West's Batman.
Oh, Adam West. Oh, okay. And they had the fake shark on his leg and everything.
Oh, because you said Batman. When I said Batman the movie, I meant like Batman the 1970s movie. That's what I meant with Adam West. Yeah, so, but either way, it's another Batman movie, and I consider it a remake. It ain't a continuation.
But don't you think
started over. They started over. That is
too damn long to be Batman.
We can't get a little Bruce Wayne. We can't get a little bit of League of the Shadows.
Bruce Wayne Begins.
No. What? Oh, look, it was a good movie. All right, it got you back into Batman. It didn't continue from any other, so it didn't continue from Michael Keaton's Batman, which makes it a remake.
Okay.
All right. Number 2, The Departed.
The Departed. And you know what? I was gonna do that too. But we did it already on the Leo top 5.
And that's why it's on this top 5. It's a top 5 movie.
But we also put it on the Oscars one too.
It's a top 5 movie. They say, oh, you know, Oscar winners, but you're not a top remake. No, it's a top remake.
I wanted to do something. Okay, go.
Oh, now you want to be the different one.
I'm gonna be the different
Now you
one.
wanna be-
But it doesn't matter. We got forget it. Go.
Anyway, Leo's in it, does a great job, makes you
Jack.
watch. Jack's in it. Marky Wahlberg. I was gonna say Marky Mark. It's in it.
Still the best line in the whole movie. I say it once, I say it again. It's best. He's got the best line in the whole movie.
It's a great line. It was like, we're not even gonna go into it.
Yeah, we already did it.
Yeah,
Look at the previous episodes.
All right, so then that brings us to number one. All right.
Number one.
Scarface.
Oh, that's pretty, man.
Pacino at his, not Pacino at his beginning, but one of the Pacino at his best following Godfather. So it was, it's a great movie. Not even people really even realize that it was a remake of the original movie from
1933. Paul
1933.
Muni. Not Paul Mooney. Paul Muni. 1933.
That would have been an awesome Scarface with Paul Mooney.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
All right, so that's my top 5. You guys can send me your hate comments all you want to for what I didn't include. Because I noticed some I didn't include, and yes, I left them off. And for the people who said I put Batman at number 5, guess what? It's at number 3 this time. If you're happy, he's at number 3.
Yeah.
But
But that was awful. Batman at 5. That was the best movie. Forget it. All right, so my number 5 is actually I watched this movie all the freaking time. Every time it came on, I watched it. It's kind of like Godzilla, like Jaws. The Fly. 1986. Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis.
over the original one, yes, that was.
It's awesome. The effects were great. The makeup, the animatronics. Cronenberg at his best. A lot of people like
Scary movie. God, it was so
a lot
scary,
of people like Dead Ringers for Cronenberg, but it was The Fly for me that was just amazing.
So much body horror in it.
Yes, but when he opens the medicine cabinet and his thing is there, that's hilarious to me. But but when you go through the transformation, when he's going through the transformation and all of that, and first of all, you actually appreciate the actual fly. You actually appreciate the actual. Yeah, I don't want to kill flies no more, but
do you remember? Did you actually see the original one? Help me!
Yeah. And also, for its day, 1950s, Vincent Price, it was all right, but that was an awesome remake. And like I said, Goldblum, that's probably like my favorite Jeff Goldblum movie.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like of all time. So number 5.
That was number 5.
Number 4 is The Evil Dead. Also, the makeup was great. The tongue slicing on the freaking blade was just brutal. It really took you to Raimi's world. It really took you to Sam Raimi back in the day. They modernized it. They did a little bit more of enhanced effects because and they kept it practical. That's what I loved about it, was they kept the makeup. It made Tom Savini proud. I can probably say that because the effects were still practical. The makeup was great. Barely any CGI or anything on it. It was a great reboot, kind of like a parallel universe between the Bruce Campbell ones, because he does come out at the very end to say groovy. But so we'll see if actually they ever do cross paths, him and Mia. But it was still
I don't even know
great.
if they'll even do it then. I don't think they'll do anything else in this particular series, but
Hey, so I
I
gave him noise right now about The Departed because it was on his 2 previous top 5s for both of us, actually, so that's okay.
Number 2?
I'm gonna bring up Star Trek. That was on one of my top 5s for
the Chris Evans one. Chris Pine. Sorry, the Chris Pine one.
Yeah, because it was on my TV.
Honestly, it was a great
TV adaptation. It was number 1.
Yeah,
so this movie was sweet.
It was good.
It was really smart to use the time travel aspect of it to reboot it. It was really smart to do that because it still kept it in the same universe. Everything was still identical as far as the.
So they Days of Future Past it.
They Days of Future Past, but they did it first. So actually, Days of Future Past, they Star Trek it. Exactly. So it was great. Chris Pine was perfect as Kirk. I'm really excited to see Beyond, Star Trek Beyond that comes out this summer. So I can only imagine the chemistry that they're all going to have because they've been together for so long. So hopefully. Number 2, Scarface, man. All the time, man. You kidding me? You kidding me? Pacino, like T said, at his best. He was, and you know what's funny is that this movie was, punished bad with critical reviews and all this sort of stuff. He just tore into the critics did, and no Oscar nominations for nobody. But it was Michelle Pfeiffer's second movie after Grease 2, if I remember right.
Damn.
And she was phenomenal in it, just as much as Al Pacino was. But Big ups to Stephen Bauer, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, Robert Loggia. Great cast. F. Murray Abraham,
Yeah.
Oscar winner there for Amadeus. He was. They were all a great cast. And back in '83, I mean, geez, you didn't really have that kind of thing, but it was just awesome. It found life in home video, obviously, and I think that's where the cult classic thing came in when they got.
It found life with rappers across the world.
Yeah.
I think they kept this movie afloat for a while. They kept it as a cult.
Latinos have, what was it? The Latinos have Scarface as our Malcolm X.
Aww.
Tony Montana. Anyway, Scarface. I love Scarface. That was one of my favorites. Number 1. Now this is really hard because normally it would have actually been Scarface, but this movie was so good, and it just really took me back to the 80s, and that was Dredd.
Why is that not on my list?
Dredd, starring Carl Urban, was phenomenal. And if you remember those 80s movies from Paul Verhoeven, Total Recall, RoboCop, Dredd gave you that. And that was already in the 2000s, 2011 to 2010, something like that, I can't remember. I'll red ink that. But anyway, but to have that essence of the 80s, the real hard-hitting action, in-your-face gore, all that good stuff, that was, Dredd. I mean, it gave you pretty much RoboCop. It was awesome, and made up for the Judge Dredd in the 90s.
Which I still like that movie. And that movie, I believe, outside of that one scene on the little motorcycle when they're flying, when they're going down the building, and that was the only part I think that doesn't hold up in that film because the CGI is really dated in there. But anyway, as you were saying, Dredd is great. It gave us the comic book version of Dredd. It doesn't take the helmet off. Ever takes the helmet off, and he doesn't smile. And that was the one thing that I loved about it, because in the comic book, he never smiles. He's always got a frown on his face, and he did it the entire film. He did that whole little thing, the whole film, and I was like, he's gonna smile once. He's gonna start. He did the whole frown, the whole film. That movie was great. And I'm really, really sad it will never get a sequel. It will get a sequel, and when it does, I don't think they'll release it theatrically. That's the one thing that. Then they're not gonna have a budget, and it's gonna be. It was already on a small budget to begin with. If they go cheaper than what they did, that's why they only could do the one little block, because they had such a tiny budget. Because he had to agree to such a small budget just to get it done. I don't know. And it still didn't make money. That's how sad it is. Well, I think it made its money in home media. When it released on video, it made its money back. But theatrically, it bombed. If the return on investment, if they tie that into home media dollars, then maybe they will. Who knows? It was freaking awesome. It'll get a short made or something like that, but it will never say. It'll get rebooted before we ever see a sequel. Hell no. Carl Urban is Judge Dredd. We'll get a different director, and they're gonna totally screw it up. So give us your top 5. Let us know what your top 5 best remakes are. Send him all your Batman hate, because Batman was on my list, was not on his. You know what? I actually had The Dark Knight as a remake to Batman. I had that, but that was a sequel. You can't call it a remake. I don't care. It's a sequel. You can't call it a remake. I don't care. It was a sequel. Can't call it a remake. We forgot things technically like Godzilla and stuff like that. I mean, they rebooted those. What, Muto? In 2014, Muto? Well, that one. But even in the whole Toho company. How about this? How about The Force Awakens? It's a sequel. It's a remake of New Hope. You got a point. It actually is a remake of New Hope, but it is technically a sequel, so it does not count. Whatever.
It even is, we'll do and then decide.
Hey, no, something. It's just gonna be narration. Shit, I forgot what number 2 was. What the hell was number 2? What just opened? With what? What just opened? Movies? Yeah.
Star Wars just came out.
Yeah, Star Wars. I got the email about that. I bought it today. Screw it. Let's just go. Ready? Oh, back. Oh. All right. 1, 2.